Hey, what's up guys, PicoWriter25 here, introducing a new segment to my channel, Park Battles. If you keep track of me, you should know that I've recently subscribed to a channel called Coaster Studios. And they do a few of these, and I feel like, hey, why don't I pit the two parks that I most recently went to against each other, which is Hershey Park, which I went to at vacation for about 3 weeks ago or so, and Six Flags Great America, my local major theme park. I live about 45 minutes away from it. So both of these parks have 13 roller coasters, and they both have an incredible lineup. Which one's better, though? We'll find out. First up, we have the two B&M inverts. We have Great Bear, which is a one-of-a-kind, unique layout. It's no other layout. I don't think it's ever copied it. And then you have Batman the Ride, on the other hand. It is very heavily cloned. It's the first of many clones, though. It was the original inverted coaster, but it's the beginning of many clones of Batman. And honestly, Great Bear will take this for just being much more of a unique layout. It doesn't really have the intensity of Batman, but it'll take it for the layout. Next up, we have the fun Schwarzkopf rides. We have Super Duper Looper, the first looping coaster of the East Coast, and Whizzer, the oldest coaster at Six Flags Great America. And Whizzer is the last of its kind, having an electric spiral lift hill. And it's got heat conduction, whatever. Whizzer, however, has one major problem, and is that the transitions are pretty jerky. The transitions aren't very smooth. The ride's pretty smooth, but the transitions don't make it kind of rough, especially when you slam into the edge of your train. So Super Duper Looper will take this for just having an inversion and for being overall having better transitions. Now we have the large wooden coasters. In Great America will be getting its first point here. We have Wildcat, one of the GCI's weakest performances because this coaster is unbearably rough. I went on it and I felt like just once was enough. And it was really rough, despite the fact that the seating is actually like a couch. And now you have Viper from a far left field manufacturer, Rigel, and its Coney Island Cyclone duplicate. But it's a very good one at that, very enjoyable, and Viper will take this for being much smoother than Wildcat. Next up, we have the Wild Mouse coasters. We have Wild Mouse, most original name ever, at Hershey Park. If you hear that creaking, it's my chair. I'm sitting in an office chair right now, and it kind of rocks, like rock back and forth. But yeah, Wild Mouse, the thing about Wild Mouse, it's just a generic Wild Mouse. You go up a lift hill, you go do some switchback turns. I'm not saying I hate Wild Mouses. They're actually pretty fun rides. They're just something that are just short, small, and fun. And they don't take up much land. They're pretty fun family coasters. But Dark Knight has some incredible theming in the queue line and the ride itself, and it'll take the point just for having that incredible theming, even though I personally hate the ride. Next up, we have the best wooden coasters in the park, or some will argue. Most people at Hershey Park will say that Lightning Racer is the best wooden coaster there. It's a GCI dueling coaster, and unlike American Eagle, the two trains are not right up against each other. They go through the same elements, just at different times. And it's an exhilarating ride. You don't know who wins until the very end. And Lightning Racer is also considerably much smoother. American Eagle, it's just one of those rides that is really old, actually. It's celebrating its 35th birthday next year. It's a really old coaster. It's one of the largest, tallest, and longest racing coasters out there, if not the tallest, longest, and fastest. I mean, it's a very long ride. It's a very lengthy ride, but Lightning Race will take this for being much more smoother and having some better racing aspects than American Eagle. Next up, we have the Steel Kitty coasters. We have Space Leaf's Rocket Rockets at Great America, which is a Vekoma kids coaster, and neither of these rides are anything special. I mean, Hershey Park, you have an even smaller ride that just kind of meanders around, Coco Cruiser, made by Zamperla, and it's actually their second newest attraction. I wasn't able to get data on Coco Cruiser, but who cares? We know it's the smallest ride in the park. No, we get a kick out of that. But Spaceys will take this. Even though I don't like doing this, Spaceys will just take it for being much longer of a ride. Next up, we have the loopers that are painted black. We have Sidewinder, a Vekoma boomerang. and it's actually one of the smoother ones out there. It was much better than the Boomerang and went on Six Flags Fiesta Texas. And Demon, an aerodynamics custom looper, is actually one of the better ones because it's not unbearable. It does get some headbanging in the corkscrews, just like on the Sidewinder has some headbanging in the Cobra roll. But Demon will take this because there are a few clones of Demon out there, but it's a better clone. It's not as widely mass-produced as a Vekoma Boomerang. And it's also another one of the oldest rides at the park. It was finalized in 1980 with the 4 inversions and the black paint and the theming we love today. Next up, we have the 2 launch coasters, and we have Storm Runner, which is my favorite ride at Hershey Park, honestly. I mean, both these coasters are great, but Storm Runner will take this for being full circuit and for being truly one of a kind, because instead of going up a top hat and just coming back down, you hit the brakes. No, you're not done. You go to the top hat, drop straight down 90 degrees, go back up through an Immelman, and then do 2 rolls or so, 2 different types of rolls, and then you hit the brakes. It's a very fun ride. Even though it's a bit rougher than V2, it's still very enjoyable and adrenaline pumping. Finally, we have the 2 hyper coasters. We have Sky Rush at Hershey Park, which is the biggest coaster they have there. Same with Raging Bull. It's the largest coaster they have at Great America as well. We have an Intamin Hyper versus a B&M Hyper, and it honestly comes down to what preference you want. In Raging Bull, it does have a couple airtime hills, but it's floater airtime. Friggin' Sky Rush has a lot of ejector airtime, and yes, it's a bit rougher and a bit more uncomfortable due to the restraints than Raging Bull. It's because it's a lot more intense. And overall, I'm going to say a lot of people would prefer Sky Rush over Raging Bull, so Sky Rush will take the 3 points. And both these parks have 13 roller coasters, like I've said. Have I? And they each have 4 left over. And the first one left over for Hershey Park is Comet, a PTC really old coaster that runs surprisingly well. That'll be earning up 1 point for the park. We have Laugh Track, their newest coaster, a spinning coaster. That'll be earning a point for the park. We have Trailblazer, the aerodynamics mine train, and that'll be earning a point for the park. And Fahrenheit, basically what I like to call the Intamin Eurofighter. Don't know why I like to call it that. And they'll be earning 2 points for the park for being a larger ride. And now Great America has 4 extra coasters as well, and all these coasters, except for Little Dipper, are considerably large coasters. We have Goliath, arguably the best coaster in the park, a fantastic RMC. And they'll be earning 3 points for the park for being arguably the best. Then we have X-Flight, the first B&M wing coaster, and I'll be earning 2 points for the park. We have Superman Ultimate Flight, the B&M flying coaster. That'll be earning 2 points for the park. And then we have Little Dipper, the really old kids ride. But it still runs really well. It's my personal first roller coaster. And I'll be earning half a point for the park. So now the score has been evened up quite a bit. It's 15-11. Next up we have the Drop Towers, or more like Drop Tower, because Hershey Park does not have one, sadly. However, Six Flags Great America has a 227-foot-tall Intamin drop tower called Giant Drop, and they'll automatically earn the 1.5 points for that. Next up, we have the Flat Rides. Hershey Park has the Claw. That'll be earning 1 point for it, even though it really needs more flat rides. Hershey Park will be earning 1 point for having the Claw, and Great America will be earning 1 point each for King Chaos, a Huss Topspin, and Revolution, a Huss indoor-facing frisbee, which is inferior to Max Air and Delirium. Outdoor-facing insane frisbees, which I really wish they could replace Revolution for those, but other than that. So now the flat rides have been evened out. I could compare Revolution with Claw, but I didn't feel like that would be the fairest matchup. Now we have the family rides. These numbers may be off by a few, because I didn't know what definitively qualified as a family ride. And there were some that were automatically qualified, but I didn't know if certain were counted like go-karts or something. So Hershey Park has 57 family rides, and Great America only has 35. So no matter the miscalculation, unless it's really major, Hershey Park will always have more. So they'll be earning 2 points. Next up are the prices, and most people buy online. So Hershey Park is 1 day. Online passes and at the door are $60. Great America has $52, but the major difference here is the season passes. Hershey Parks is nearly twice as expensive with season passes than Great America, and their gold season passes are about twice as expensive as well, maybe just under twice as much. So Great America will definitely be getting the 2 points there. Next up, Hersheypark has a few extra attractions, making your ticket worthwhile. I mean, if you pay a lot for a ticket, that's gotta be worth something. And they have 2 extra attractions that really put the bang for your buck there. They have Zoo America, which is just a zoo that you can enter through the back of the park, and it comes free with a Hersheypark admission ticket. And then you have Hershey's Chocolate World. It's just steps away from the front entrance of Hersheypark, and you can go in for free, and you can pay extra to go on unique attractions. But they have a 4D chocolate, or they have an interactive chocolate ride to learn how chocolate's made, and you can also buy exclusive merchandise exclusive to the factories in the Hershey area. And I'll be getting 2 points for Hersheypark for each attraction, so a total of 4. Next up, we have the park appearance, and Hersheypark will earn the 2 points, no contest, because Six Flags Great America is a Six Flags park. We know it's not going to be the best looking. However, Hersheypark has some lavish and extraordinary landscaping and architecture. Their buildings are very well designed and well themed, and the landscaping there is pretty good. There's lots of trees, plants, there's a couple flowers around, and it's pretty good. Next up, we have operations. Both parks do very good with operations. Never really been to Hersheypark on a weekend since since it's a 12-hour drive from where I am, and I was just on there for vacation, and I only went there for 2 days on the weekdays. But both parks have very good operations at dispatching trains. Yes, stacking might occur, but it's not a very long stacking unless you're on Goliath at Great America. But I'll complain about that another day. And both of them consistently run 2 trains on weekdays, which is what I know. So they'll both be earning 2 points. And winning by 7.5 points is Hersheypark. And I'm sure a lot of you saw this coming, that Hersheypark would won. And this is quite a large deficit for Great America to lose by, but it's still, Hersheypark is an excellent park, but both of these are amazing. You really should visit both of them. And then I come to the acknowledgements. I hope you really liked, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love you to leave a like and maybe even a subscription. That would be really nice. And also like to thank Coaster Studios for making the few of these before I made this. And I got inspired. And yeah, I just like to shout him out. I don't know his YouTube channel link, but I'm shouting him out. Just look up for him. He makes some pretty awesome videos and analysis and whatnot. So yeah, this has been Peekaboo25. This has been a new segment. Tell me how you like it or whatnot, and peace.